Hey you guys, it's me, Greg. Just hopping on. Wanted to kind of like touch on the previous video that I did the previous week. Let me be honest, part one, where I talked about me being late trying to get to Los's place and having like time management issue. Since that video, I can honestly say that I've gotten a little bit better. It was a minor issue yesterday, but it wasn't it wasn't too serious because technically I wasn't supposed to be there yesterday, but I decided to come in to do some administrative work for Lowe's to finish up some administrative work. But anyway, I wanted to go into part two more of let me be honest, and I'm going to go into a deeper dive as to who I am as a person and what that means. And basically, like like I said in the last video, I talked about time management and not letting lows down. So with part two, I'm going to go deeper into that. So with that being said, basically I have not trust issues, but I basically don't like to let people down. So you could say that I'm kind of like a people pleaser in a way. And I kind of base that off my childhood. In regards to being a people pleaser. It actually started with my dad. I would say. My dad like basically was very strict, very militant. He really didn't let me do too much, and then it was also like he had this uh preconceived notion as to who he knew who I was, even though he didn't know me as a person. He thought he knew me as a person, and I kind of allowed him to paint that picture of me without advocating for myself. And basically, like, why I'm bringing this up is I watched a Darman video. I watched a Darman video earlier today, and it was about a guy who um who's like a talented like drawer, like he could draw. His art was amazing, and he wanted to go to art school, but his parents didn't think that was a good idea because in their minds they thought, well, going to art school is a waste of time. Like you're not going to be successful as being an artist. And they were completely wrong, and they were kind of like basing their decision off of their other child, who was a successful person who went to Harvard, studied psychiatry, that kind of stuff. So they were basing that feeling off of what the brother was doing, what the older brother was doing. And I think that kind of like relates to me because that's like me with my dad. I have two older sisters, Chris and Courtney. I love both of them. But even though I love them, I don't like what they do. And when I say what they do is they know what kind of person my dad is and how he treats me, but they really don't advocate for me like a sibling. They don't say, "Hey dad, like, ease up on Greg. Don't don't do that." They they just stand there and watch him browbeat me, and I haven't really had a conversation with them about that because I'm allowing like my love for them to cloud my my love for them to is yeah, my love for them is clouding my judgment to really have that conversation with them by saying like, why don't you advocate for me? Or like, he treats me this way, like why don't you stand up for me? And why do you not have that sibling bond with me? You, it, it's hard to talk about. Just actually thinking about it brings it brings me pain. It brings me sorrow because I don't like I don't I don't like talking about it, but um, also it's a form of therapy. It helps me to heal in a way. But but it's basically kind of like it hurts me because I want that relationship like with my sisters, but it's kind of like they'll protect him more than they'll advocate for me. And I get that that's our dad, but like also at the same time, you have to recognize when someone is being toxic and being negative around you or towards you. And going back to like letting people down, that's kind of like how my dad treats me. Like he never really appreciated me as a person. He just really didn't care for me, I would say. And I know like why he didn't care for me, but that's not an excuse as to how he treated me. And to this day, like I really don't have that bond or a relationship with him. And I'm okay with, not being around him. I'm fine with that because for me it's I'd rather be happy than to be miserable and suffering for or being uncomfortable in a situation that I know that I don't have to be uncomfortable with. Um, and prior to me cutting off ties with him, I actually did tell him that my therapist said that um, if if like to basically cut him out of my life, and I told him this, and his feelings were hurt. He tried to reverse it by saying like, well, I haven't been in your life when you were younger, but what do you expect me to do? Well, my response is or was, um, well, I don't well, actually, I didn't even respond to that because, like, I've heard that excuse so many times in my life, and it's just, like, at the point where it's like, "Don't don't gaslight me." And that's basically what he was doing. He was trying to like gaslight me into feeling sorry for him, and that's not what I'm going to do. Like, I get that, like, you didn't know how to be a dad for towards a boy, but that still doesn't mean that you can be um a crappy dad towards me. And for that, like, I don't want anything to do with him. And since I cut ties with since I cut ties with him, I've been pretty good. Like I haven't had issues or felt stress, nothing like that. It's just that I think like cutting him out of my life was the best decision that I can make. And I know like some of you might say, "Well, that's your dad. Like don't cut him out of your life. Give him a second chance." I've given him so many chances and he's always let me down every chance that I've given him. Um Even when he called himself trying to be a dad, he wasn't being a dad. He was more abusive uh, physically and verbally, but just yeah, just actually thinking about that, it brings me sadness because I don't think anyone should have to go through that, but um, it's just that it really shouldn't have happened, but it did, and I think in a way, like, it helped me to shape the person that I've become, and I'm forever grateful for that. So, um,